All right. Who is speaking today? There we go. There we go.
I'm supposed to stand right
Just go ahead, yeah, stand right up there. We're good to go. I'm gonna take this back one notch. We're close. Perfect. Anytime you're ready.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everyone want to get a seat? Good morning. Y'all, we're gonna get started now, all right? Good morning to everyone who's here and who's on Zoom, to the Skylines Entrepreneur for Christ class. A little tidbit before we hear from Melandrew this morning on LLC corporations. One of my favorite sayings is never underestimate one person's ability to empower another. Okay, never underestimate one person's ability to empower another. Now you add Jesus to that, you got mega power. And I'm bringing this up because the last 2 weeks, 2 people in this class, one that's online, one that's here, helped me tremendously. One with some legal advice and the other with SEO and website advice. And I know in the future, Carlos is working on ways for us to network more specifically and intentionally together. But don't forget who's here, because there's some amazing, powerful resources in this room. And with that, let's open in prayer. Lord, we come before you this morning just grateful that we can assemble, that we can worship you, that we can help each other with our businesses. We can help each other grow in our lives personally and professionally. We ask that you would join us now in your powerful and beautiful name. Amen. And Melandrew, take it from here.
Yay. Quite nice. Last Sunday of the month. Yay. So how's your day going? Any plans for Halloween? So far, so good. Okay, let's get it started. So, check. Check, Mike. So we're talking about business formation introduction. How to form a new business entity. For that, here's topics, introduction, intro to the business formation, history. Second topic would be the business formation itself, the different types, reason why you want to build an entity. And third, we're going to teach you how to register your new entity or company. third one, we're gonna teach you how to register your company, form a new entity. And fourth one will be our conclusion, reminders for on your formation, and open forum. So who am I? I'm Melandrew Santos. I graduated business management. I work on a couple of startup companies, and I do regulation A for those companies, document preparation. And I like my inspiration is I like being an entrepreneur, and I love science and technology. That's why I do what I do. So what inspires you? I mean, starting you, sir. What inspires you, sir?
For me?
Yeah. How about you, sir? Go around.
Giving my life as best I can to help my family.
How can you like?
What really inspires me is the abundance and that we have when we play cards right. Just the peace, the tranquility, and the fact that we're taken care of. It's nice.
Well, that's a hard one to follow.
That's a good one.
But money inspires me, not the love of money, but what the good things you can do with money. I'm tired of being poor and broke. You can't do anything. You can't do any good. I mean, some, but I know it might sound a little rough at first, but not the love of money, but to have money and do good with it.
I would follow up with that because I think that what inspires me right now at this point in my life is to build more finances to be able to light up the scoreboard in heaven. So that's really what motivates me right now.
Well, I'm looking for some inspiration, so what to add to that? With money, you can do a lot of good, help a lot of people, and that's what inspires me.
Yeah, what inspired me is the word of God that says, if no one doesn't work, need not to eat. So, I work hard to help my community, help my family, help friends and loved ones.
Good morning. I would say it's just the power of duplication and compounding over time, and then passing down that generational wealth. When that light bulb turns on, it's pretty powerful.
Well, at this time in my life, just having success and seeing other people have success in our lives, overcoming obstacles. That's what inspires me.
All right. The reason I asked is Biz for Christ is all about entrepreneuring for Christ. So we put the values of the Bible and apply it to the real world applications, such as, for example, today we see a lot of mandates, right? We see now clearly who's on our day. Are they pro mandates or not? Just like recent news, it's in and out. They stood up for something, and if you don't know, In and Out is a Christian body-owned company, and we want Biz for Christ's vision is to teach people and to live by the rules of God and Jesus Christ, apply it in every aspect of our life. So don't forget to go to bizforchrist.com. You can check it out. If you subscribe, if you didn't subscribe, just subscribe on bizforchrist.com. All right, let's get this party going. Well, what is the history of formation? The origins of it, it's really unknown. No one knew. But the first recorded one was during the Roman Empire. from BC, 600 BC before Christ. So it's pretty old. Formation means, it doesn't mean it's business. Formation means kingdoms or businesses or organization. That's what the history of it is unknown. So what is the early formation for our country, the USA? We mainly use private articles of agreement that we adapted during those pre-colonial eras. So the way we form businesses back then is just contracts. Like Sir Carlos and me say agreement to form this ABC company and so on and so forth. So with that, we evolved into a law for private corporation. It became a law. It's called American Treatise on the Law of Private Corporation. If you search that, it has a long case study on how our private formation today has become. So that's a good one to start with if you like reading stuff. Yeah. But what are the different types of formation? Sole proprietorship, for example, individual entrepreneurs. You can be a freelancer. You can be a trader. Have you been, any of you have been trading lately? Stocks, bonds, futures, commodities, IRAs, your Roth IRA, your 401ks. You can be a trader on that in your platform. You can control which one to trade and to sell and buy stocks or bonds. That's up to you. But for me, I choose Christian-owned valued companies. So
Well, they're not doing anything now. Stock market.
yeah, contractors. You can be an individual contractor, or you can be an individual and you just go as DBA, just like a law firm, like someone I know. Partnership. Most partnerships are accountants, group of accountants, group of engineers, group of medical doctors, or any owned by two group of people, two or more. So the last one would be entity. So the two main different entities right now, it would be private and public. So any one of you guys know what's the difference between a private and public companies? Anyone? Yes, sir.
Disclosures.
Disclosure, what else?
Yeah, so you'll publicly trade companies, they trade stocks and stuff like that. But the private ones, it's really hard to find information on, like looking for certain information is hard to really like, but you got to really like disclosure.
It would look like that in the private, you just have, you have stocks, but they don't answer to the public, so they probably don't have to answer to the SEC. So.
Here's a trick question. Could you be on, are all companies public on secondary markets?
No. You have companies that are public, but are not traded on the secondary market.
So I'll give you a hint, it's called Regulation A.
Yeah.
If you search that, it would be interesting if you want to learn more about. Oh, there's a-
What does it cost to write up a registration, regulation A, as you say? What's the average price?
If you want to go cheap, it could be, you can do it as 1,000 if you do it yourself.
And if you use Melandrew, it's probably cheaper.
Well, the goal for Reg A is supposed to be, everyone can use it. Any entity can go public without going to a secondary market, which is NASDAQ, what else? OTC, New York Stock Exchange, and any secondary exchanges. So that's the reason why they built Regulation A, is for an ordinary person, just like me, who doesn't have enough
millions of dollars to invest with, they call it accredited investors to invest with a regular company. So with Regulation A, that you can do that. With some restriction, you can do it in Regulation CF crowdfunding. And I don't know about Regulation D, but Regulation D have been used for a long time to go into public. So if you're interested for that, we could have a separate class for that. Yes,
Do
sir.
you recommend a private company go public?
Recommend, it depends on the company itself. If you go public,
When you're big.
yeah, not really your big, it's up to you, because understand this, if you go public, that means you're sharing your ownership to everyone. So there's a good reason why group of people choose to be only private and public. Yes, ma'am.
It's a control issue.
Yeah, control. Like, for example, In-N-Out or this company, Private Cab, they are a Christian-owned social media, so they want to keep it that way. So with Regulation A, you can, or any going to public, you can limit to control what you want to give out or sell with. So it doesn't mean if you go public, you'll lose control also. For example, if I have 100 million shares, I just want to sell 30 million shares to fundraise. So I still have 70% control of the company. So there you go. So it could be an LLC. Entities can be LLC, profit corporation or non-profit. So those are the main entities. But for me, I have a experience in profit corporation. I have no experience in non-profit. All of these things differs in tax structures. That would be an Amanda question.
No, just a nonprofit is a corporation. It's just that you apply for nonprofit status. So you actually have to set up a corporation and then you apply with the IRS to get a nonprofit status. So that's just the difference.
Okay, moving along. What are the main reasons for forming an entity? Well, just like I said, it's up to the group of people and up to you. That's why I asked you what inspires you in the first place. Because in the end, it's what you do that matters and what you want to do. So these are the general reasons why liability, it shields your personal assets from the business liability. Finances, it separates your personal and business finances. Scalable. Entities are built to be a system structure to be big. If you want to keep it small, that's up to you. Flexible. It's a transferable thing. It could go on and on in perpetual duration. Yes, sir.
You said shield personal assets from business liability. Can you expand on that just a little bit?
I think he wants to share.
Well, what happens is, you know, actually it's an interesting position because you have to have enough assets in the space you're operating in to basically pay off foreseeable liabilities. And so sometimes you have to have insurance. I remember when I was just to tell you a vignette here, I was a law clerk and I was actually trying to write a disclaimer on the three-wheelers. I don't know if you know that people are turning up paraplegic. So the problem is that, you know, there's only so much you can protect yourself. So they can actually pierce the corporate veil, as you're calling it, if you don't have enough insurance or assets to basically answer for reasonable foreseeable liabilities.
Yeah, you could do capital stuff. Just like You can do capital stuff and split profit with your entity. It's really flexible, whatever you want to do with it. Just like I said, if you have the issue of control, you could only sell 30% of your shares for ownership. So it's easy to set up more than ever. Everything we do right now, it's an online application. I'll show it to you later on. It's how easy it is to set up online, step by step. Actually, there's 3 steps. If you want more, if you want easier, it's 2 steps. So, and we have new regulations, regulation A+, regulation CN, and other deductions right now. So that would be an interesting topic also. If you want to learn more about it, all of these regulations, just go to your closest EFC administrator like Carlos, and yeah, change topics, right? Want to go there if you want to learn more about it. And that's the main reasons why we form entity. Other than the main mission goals. Why did I form my entity? Because I want to help our entrepreneurs with their regulations. That's why I built my own, co-founded my own entity. And there's a lot of people here that build their own entity. I'll give you a hint. It's right next to me. And a lot of people can mentor you and show you the way and do's or don'ts about forming an entity. So that's a hidden gem per se on this group. Thus they're Christian and they have Christian values, so that's a plus. All right. Here are the 3 easy steps or less. 1, choose a state, then hire a registered agent. Most registered agent on their website, you can form it right there. So you can stop right there. Only 2 steps. You go to their website and buy their package. Be their registered agent, thus form a new company in one package. So if you want to be thrifty like me, so I want to save money, I go to step 3. I'll just hire them as a registered agent. Then I'll file it myself with the Secretary of State website. So disclaimer, not all states have the same laws for forming a registered agent. Some state doesn't require you to have a physical address, and you can use your registered agent's address for that. Yes, sir.
Okay, so choose a state. See, lots of times the
corporation will be out of Nevada or Arizona. I mean, there's got to be a reason why. I thought or would think that you would have to register the state you're doing business in, or at least that you would have a corporate office. I mean, can you tell me why people register in Nevada, in Arizona?
One main reason is their laws are different, and second reason is the nature of their business. So most of these companies are online business. Yeah, so they don't need a physical company to render services or sell their products. Yes, sir.
Someone's question. You sell a product, right? I'm sorry. You sell a product, but your distribution can be in one state, but his local office can be in another state. Am I correct or not correct?
Yeah, but
Yes.
there's no office. There's no office in these places out of Nevada or Arizona.
Well, okay. Okay, but some states, as you said, provide a physical location.
Right.
So could, in his particular case, could he have an office in Delaware or Wyoming?
Yeah.
And have his distribution in Oregon or wherever that case may be?
True, yeah, that's right.
Because there would have to be a reason for me to do that.
Well, I don't know anyone, but I know Wyoming states that you could use your registered agent as a physical address for your business.
You know, that's actually really tricky because every state, some states, it will remain anonymous, want to get taxes. And so they'll literally see where you're living, you know, and they'll actually count the days. And so the other thing is if you have a physical, you know, if you have employees and they're going to get the employee taxes, do you understand? And so it's very tricky. Actually, you have to really, really think through that one. So it's a little more involved than you think.
In addition to that, using my experience, I have an entity. I do business here in California. I have an entity in Michigan, and the reason why my motivation is the cost of doing business in California and registration. So it's cheaper to run it in Michigan with a registered agent. I have a registered agent, which I paid annually, that does all the necessary business stuff with the agency. You understand what I'm saying? With the government, and then report to me here in California.
You know, the world has gotten flat. It's amazing. Some of the projects I'm working on, we have people that are working in Michigan. We have people working in Tijuana. It's just crazy because you can outsource. I have people that are actually working, actual Americans working down in Mexico. They're retired, but they're working, you know, it's crazy. So you can really operate a business globally. I even had a illustrator working out of Turkey. Can't believe it. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
You research about it, you'll find it, you know, compelling to do or form another state. But, you know, it all depends on in the end, it all depends on their tax laws. And that's what they get. You can't escape sales tax. For example, if I have an online business, then I sell sauce on California, then I have to pay, based on California statutes and tax laws, I have to pay the tax on a California resident when we sell our product to a California resident. So you have to pay them sales tax. But I'm not a accounting expert, but that is the general idea of tax law. Whatever you go, you pay for the sales tax of that particular you obey that law on any state where you're selling a product on. But for business formation, it's like any of the people said, Carlos and Craig and you, sir, you said, yes, you can build your own form your company in other state. Yes, sir.
California is such a pain in the butt regarding taxes.
California is such a pain in the butt with taxes. Why does anybody want to do business with their corporation in California? I mean, if these other places give you all these breaks, why does anybody want to do it in California?
Before Craig, I'll answer that. One of the main reasons, one is monopoly.
No, I was going to touch bases on something where Craig said the world is flat, right? As you start to grow your businesses, just be mindful, because I'm in the insurance and finance industry, these IP addresses, you know what I mean? these companies pay a lot of money to figure out where you're at when you're signing these documents through like DocuSign. Just know about your IP address, because they can see it.
Oh,
I'll answer that question. The 6th or 7th largest economy is California. That's the problem. And this century is the century of the Pacific, before the Chinese meltdown, and before this new, let's say, group of government in Sacramento. It was the fastest growing economy. And it's actually multiverse. It has, farming, it has industry. So you have to understand that it has a lot, and it has a sun tax, also known as San Diego. And so,
Yeah.
people want to retire here. So it's very hard to negate California. That's the problem. Remember, all the ports, a lot of the imports from America are coming through SoCal. So now since we go digital, we can kind of maybe wean yourself away from California. But I tell you, it's tough, man. All the ports are in California. That's the bottom line. So that was a short answer.
Also, to kind of go back to the Spider-Man here. We love the Spider-Man. But, so why wouldn't everyone start their corporation outside of California? Well, I'm sure the liberals up in Sacramento have thought of that. So it's a one-party state for 11 years, and that's why it's in the tank. But it just seems that they would have thought of every way to tax you any way means possible. Yeah, otherwise everyone would just start their corporation next door in Arizona. So they got a sales tax at least, but employees on and on. California knows how to tax you. Yeah, they do.
One thing I would mention, if you sell online, like at Walmart.com or Amazon.com, they're gonna collect state taxes. And that will be done for your account. It's not anything that's optional. So that's just across the board. That's back to the flat picture.
Did that answer your question?
But the way you can get around it is actually subdivide your business. So if you can have an entity that's digital and not affiliated with California. So you just got to think through this. I'm saying this, there's ways around the legitimate, always legitimate. So.
I think we have a good teacher, Amanda, to teach you about taxes and accounting stuff. So for me, I all know about formation. We're her consultant accountant first, But for formation, yes, you can do business and form an entity in another state. Then you can't get away with taxes. There's two certain things in life. Taxes. You're gonna die in taxes. Yeah. So the big company that recently moved is Tesla. They move out of the state recently from California to Texas. Gee, I wonder why, They're not the only ones. Oh, yeah.
Going to Texas and Florida.
Yep. Just ask yourself, gee, I wonder why. And start researching about it. That's what we do, and that's how.
That is actually huge. That is such a vote of no confidence. Tesla is on fire. It's going to boom. It's actually not a car company. It's an AI company on steroids. They're just building a frame around the computer. But it's interesting because what I'm seeing is that you have bureaucrats that don't understand business. So you have bureaucrats in Sacramento that are taxing the hell out of it, and people vote with their feet. They just leave. And so you have bureaucrats that don't know how to make money, and do business, and create value, and create wealth. You know, there's an optimal taxing thing. In fact, they've done studies that the less you tax, the more money you make, because people do business and create wealth. And so you're taking a little piece of tax over a bigger pie. And so anyways, I'm sticking to my story.
Yeah, for example, I choose Wyoming. Yeah. The reason why it's because of the trees and mountains, because I like Wyoming that much. The second, I go to any registered agent for Wyoming. This is just an example. I don't endorse anything on these slides, by the way. Everything is example and you must research. Yes, sir.
What does a registered agent do?
I think yeah, okay. Register agent, it collects your documents for the Secretary of State. They're the one who's like managing. Yeah.
An agent is basically your representative in that state, so they'll serve you lawsuits. They basically they get the mail and everything else. And so because you have to have a physical location in the state. So you have a physical location, which is their PO box, and that body, that entity who basically, if you're gonna serve somebody, you normally have to serve the agent for service of process. So that's the person you're serving. You actually don't serve the CEO, you serve that person. So that's literally your representative in that physical space.
Pertaining to which state, what we've done in our company, when you look at a state, don't just look at the no state tax, look at the liabilities the state has. Nevada is underwater. It's a great place, but they require a physical and a PO won't work. Delaware or Wyoming, they have a surplus. Give an example. Nevada has no state tax, but they have a coupon tax. What the heck is this? It's another way of taxing companies because they're running a deficit. So you want to throw that?
So can you expand on that? Can you elaborate that?
Okay,
So you're saying that the budget is underwater?
yeah,
Because it's underwater, we're looking at.
they have no state tax, right? Well, how would Nevada get money from a corporation? They create another entity or another form of taxation called a coupon tax, an employee tax, an amount of employee. They create different ways that they have no state tax. But I look at the state if it has a surplus, $1, $2, $3, $4 billion in surplus, meaning it has a long extended runway where they're not going to go after the corporations. So I do a little bit further study on that.
Well, Wyoming has a yearly registration, just like your car. So they said, So I choose Wyoming. Then I found a registered agent. Then there you go. No upsell, registered agent. I can click that one and represent me. Then go to step 3, or if I have more money in my pocket, I would go to form a company package right there. Then they'll do anything for you. Then you'll see them next year for your renewal. That's it. The hardest thing you'll do is thinking about a name for your entity. And like I said, if you just want to hire them as a registered agent, go search online at Secretary of State. For Wyoming, it's the Wyoming Secretary of State. So I'll go here, right here. Form and register a new business. Click start now. What entity you want. Profit. And there you have it. You have a entity, just to form up a name. Then put up the details about the registered agent. If you have physical address or any officers you want to put or directors, that's it. That's easy as 1, 2, 3. So any questions about forming a company?
Is it this easy with every state?
I wouldn't attest for California, but for Wyoming, yeah. For any people within Delaware or any states.
How about California?
You did?
So how about California? Is it as easy or is it complicated?
I would say it's the same thing. You can do it online, but the thing is, the issue is the fee. There's more fees in California. We'll get you that one. Whether you make money or not, you're gonna pay I think $1,000 a year or something like that.
It's 1,000. I thought it was 800.
Whether you make money or not.
For reminders, research your business state laws. Get your EIN. What's that? Employer identification number. That's your tax ID. Make a company minutes, electing you as an officer or any board that you like, board member that you like. And last but not least, make your rules. You know, what is your bylaws for a company? You better read your state law first before making your bylaws. And but it's pretty easy right now. You can search it online. Everything you can search it online. You can learn it by yourself. If you're really interested, pretty sure it will be easy for you. So any questions? Okay, this is my references. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. I just have a two-part questions. Since we have, some of us have private businesses and entities, what is the cost and benefits of taking these private entities to public?
So I think the one main reason is funding. They want more funding for expansion. So economically, the more capital you have, the more money you can spend it on to render your services. The more rendered services that you can do, the more profit that you have. Number two is probably ownership. Most of the private companies see it as if you share your ownership, it's disadvantage, but some is advantage, because the more you incentivize people or group of people or economically, the more traction you will have. For example, Tesla, they have a lot of small-time traders. If you follow Wall Street group on Reddit, you'll see the traction and conversations they have on trading just like Tesla, GameStop. The recent example is GameStop. So if the people support you, even though you're not making money, you're still ongoing because they support you, they invested on you. And it's a free advertising for you, for the company. So those are two main reasons why they go public.
What's the process what process do you go through? Does it have to do with capital share? Does it have to do with profit? Does it have to do with data? Does it have to do with reputation? Does it have to do with number of?
There's a lot of combinations of everything, but the main reason is regulation. You have to abide to a regulation of SEC. Thank you, Skyline Church and Miss for Christ for having me. Hope you have a good, happy Halloween, Saints Day. And remember to, I have a scripture, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Proverbs 3:6. So thank you. Have a great day.
Amen.
All right, I think that's everything. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. We'll go ahead and finish this one out. God bless.